Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report for the second time on Wednesday because the Cowboys have made yet another roster move. They have added tight end Jeremy Sprinkle, last with the Washington football team, as in all likelihood, this is probably a Blake Bell replacement who, as I'm sure you guys know, went back to the Chiefs on a one-year deal. Sprinkle, by the way, is also coming in on a one-year contract. This is not like a new starter for the Cowboys by any means. This is a depth signing. This is a potential tight end 3 who, if he gets on the field, will mostly be blocking for the Cowboys, something he's done plenty of in his NFL career. Offers good size at 6'5", 255, coming out of Arkansas, a former fifth-round pick back in 2017, had just the one catch last year. Although I will make note, Sprinkle was more involved in 2019 with the Washington football team than, of course, the Redskins. 40 targets, 26 yards, 241 yards, 26 catches. I think I misspoke there just a second ago. 40 targets, 26 catches for 241, and the one touchdown there. He's not a dynamic playmaker by any stretch of the imagination. It's a very similar move to that Blake Bell signing where I think you'll see Sprinkle end up competing with Sean McEwen, but it was a roster move that went down for the Dallas Cowboys, and as we will always try to do here on the Dallas Cowboys Report, we let you know when news happens. So Sprinkle comes in. Again, the contract details, if I didn't mention this earlier, the contract details are not yet known at this point outside of it being a one-year deal, and it's probably going to be very cheap. Now, when news breaks, we break it down for you guys here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. So if you have not already, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any of the stuff that happens here for America's team. The news, the rumors, draft, free agency, when punters get signed. We broke that video down earlier today. We cover everything here on America's team. So if you want to join the #1 Cowboys YouTube channel out there, that's most watched, most interactive, I think most fun, hit that big red button and join us today. So I will update the depth chart now for the Dallas Cowboys as it relates to the tight end position. It now goes 4 deep. I still think Blake Jarwin is your tight end 1. He is, of course, coming off of the injury. Dalton Schultz is tight end 2, who fared quite well after Blake Jarwin's injury. Then Jeremy Sprinkle and probably Sean McEwen competing for that tight end 3 role. McEwen was on the roster last year. We'll see what Sprinkle is able to bring as a pure depth option. Not somebody you really want out there getting a bunch of run at tight end, much like most tight end 3s. I don't think we're going to see the Belldozer package remain in the playbook, the very fun moment where the under tight end center snap there for Bell. Not really Sprinkle's game, but as a veteran depth backup tight end option on what I assume is going to be a very similar deal to that of Blake Bell, i.e. it was very, very cheap. I've got no problems with this particular move. Plus, the Cowboys have been able to see plenty of Sprinkle from his time in the NFC East. So grade this move for me. A, B, C, D, or F. We're going to break it down more in depth here in a second. Before we do that, though, if you get the ad break here on YouTube, simply scroll on down and get your votes in. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the move of Jeremy Sprinkle to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I do want to focus in more here on the incumbent starters, and I'll put 2 starters in quotes here. Blake Jarwin, coming off of his own torn ACL. The Cowboys were hyped about him. Many of us here at the Cowboys Report, both the fans and myself, of course, were excited about Blake Jarwin. I fully expect he's going to be fine in terms of his recovery from his torn ACL. If that changes, we'll let you guys know, but the expectation here is Jarwin's going to be fine and will likely be the starter. On the bright side, just in case something happens, Jarwin, or he's slow to recover or not as good after the injury, there's Dalton Schultz. He actually fared very well as a tight end in a rather, when healthy, dynamic passing offense. Schultz is your 4th best option, if not your 5th or 6th best option. But he put up great production. 63 catches, 615 yards, 4 scores. That stat line for a tight end is actually very strong and very impressive. Yes, it's not Travis Kelce or Darren Waller or George Kittle, but for a former 4th-round pick who's cheap and young and can block a little bit as well, that's more than you could ever hope for out of your tight end too. And frankly, Schultz proved himself to be at least a low-end to mid-tier starter at the tight end position. Now, we'll get to Kyle Pitts. I know so many of you want to talk about that. Before we do, the Cowboys Report is on the News Break app. And if you want to be aware of what's going on inside your own community, something that I have normally struggled with because, it's sports all the time, right? The News Break app helps me in that area because it sends me notifications as to what's going on with local news, weather, politics, some pop culture, even some food, because who doesn't love food, right? And you can get sports content from us here at the Cowboys Report. So go download the app today at chatsports.com/CowboysNB. That link, by the way, will be both in the comment section and in the description to support the show, and download it today, chatsports.com/CowboysNB. Back to tight end then, and Kyle Pitts as a part of this conversation. With Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, Jeremy Sprinkle, and Sean McEwen on the roster, I don't really see the Cowboys having a need, period, at tight end. I'd thought there was still a somewhat of a need to maybe compete for the tight end 3 role, but you've got 4 guys that can stick on an NFL roster. So it brings questions about what the future looks like, and could Kyle Pitts even be in the cards now at all? Tight end has gone from it's not a need really to it's really not a need right now. Kyle Pitts, as he's been for Dallas in this hypothetical scenario in which he's even on the board, right, would simply be a pure best player available pick. And in all likelihood, unless Penei Sewell and Pitts are both there in some wild outcome, Pitts would be the best player on a ignoring need altogether big board. Now, I don't think Pitts is going to be there, period. But I actually don't believe that the addition of Jeremy Sprinkle would really limit the Cowboys from taking Kyle Pitts. Because if Pitts was there, you would take him and then still trade away somebody, be it Michael Gallup and or Dalton Schultz or Blake Jarwin. Like the taking of Pitts was never about, oh yeah, we need a tight end. The taking of Pitts would be about, we just want the best player on the board. Like that's all we want to do at that point. So if you wanted Kyle Pitts before the signing of Jeremy Sprinkle, you should probably still want him because you're going to trade somebody away anyway. So get your votes in for me in the comment section. Do you want Kyle Pitts with the number 10 overall pick? I don't think this move changes much. I think it's far more likely that the Cowboys now don't take somebody late on day 3, but get your votes in. Do you want Kyle Pitts or not? Y for yes or N for no?